Alright, moving on to my next episode review, and it's going to be Star Wars Rebels, Episode 3, Droids in Distress. Now, this was a lot of fun. This show, in just 3 episodes, I'm like, man, I am so happy to get back into Star Wars again. Oh my god. This is so much fun to finally get back into Star Wars. Let me say this. I didn't get to say this. I didn't talk about this in my initial review of the pilot. The pilot made me so, like, the whole time, it made me feel like, oh yeah, Star Wars can be cool. I totally forgot about that. I totally forgot that Star Wars can be awesome. And here we are now. Yay! Oh man! So this episode deals with the crew of the Ghost, pretty much in a situation as something like you would see the crew of the Bebop and the crew from of the Serenity as well. They're dealing with, hey, we're running low on food. We're kind of running out on supplies, so let's do a job for a guy who will more than likely sell us out. Whose name I can't remember. But yeah, so they're supposed to do a mission to get some they're supposed to do a weapons to steal some weapons for him so he can mass produce them and steal them from the Empire. How they do this and what happens next made me happy the rest of the episode. They basically board a ship, and I'm thinking to myself, that ship looks very familiar. I think I've seen that somewhere. And then I saw the pilot of this little spacecraft they used to get to the docking bays. It's the little robot from Star Tours! And it's the ship from Star Tours! Oh my god! I had the biggest fangasm ever! If you ever went to Disney World and went on Star Tours, that was one of the fun... I mean, yeah, it was repetitive, but as a kid, you love it, and you still get that feeling of nostalgia. Granted, I haven't been able to ride the new refurbished version yet, but still, that is how you do a reference, Disney. I didn't even think you were going to go that route, because again, Star Tours had been around longer before they officially owned the rights to Star Wars. And, oh my god, that is how you do a reference, Disney. That is how you do a clever reference to Star Wars and your own stuff. Bravo! I was so happy. And they make it a relevant thing! They make it irrelevant. He has all the movements as the robot did in the original Star Tours. He does all the, the beeping and whirling and moves. Oh my god, I could go on and on about that little scene. But again, that is how you do a reference. So getting off that little high right there, the story continues, and what happens next is more or less that they manage to steal the weapons in a very unique way. We also get it's only been the 3rd episode, we're already getting appearances by Star Wars characters, and we get C-3PO and R2-D2, who are doing their own undercover mission for Bail Organa, which I was actually like, it's Bail Organa. The whole time I was thinking maybe it'd be Leia. I was kind of thinking, Leia. Because I know, I've heard some news that apparently, I might as well just talk about this now, that apparently what's going to happen in this season is that Darth Vader will show up, and James Earl Jones will be reprising his role as Vader. Fuck yeah. That's all I can say. Fuck yeah. James Earl Jones back as, the greatest Sith Lord ever. Yeah. You can't help but be like, oh my god, but after hearing that news. So, anyway, they managed to steal the weapons, and they turn out to be these type of destructors, and the character Zeb ain't having it. He's already not liking the idea of having these things around. And just as they're getting them on board the Ghost, a group of Imperial troopers show up, and Zeb pulls out a weapon that looks kind of like General Grievous's bodyguard's bow staff. Those energy bow staffs you remember from Episode 3 that were supposed to be built up to hold against lightsabers, but they didn't do jack shit with them, and they didn't really do anything with them until Clone Wars, really. And even then, that's arguable. But it's supposed to be a totally different weapon, apparently, by his people called the Lasat. I think that's their name. And his people, we find out a bit more that the Lasat are an endangered species. Hell, there's only not even they're very much nearly wiped out. Because their planet was pretty much torn apart by the Empire, and the Disruptors were used as target practice for the Disruptors. That is very. So I'm glad this is very, because Zeb sounds like is a very cool character to me. I like that they've managed to give him a little more backstory on here, and in here. Also, the whole time, I know Zeb is voiced by Steve Blum, and his character is this very rough and tumble type character, and he does sound like a British version of, like, Grunt from Mass Effect, and the whole time I'm thinking to myself, one time he's just going to shout, "I am Krogan!" I know that's never going to happen, but I'm not the only one who thinks that on occasion. So yes, Ezra in this story is also trying to get Kanan to show him some Jedi training. However, stuff keeps happening. Stuff keeps getting in the way over and over again. And eventually, Ezra's kind of getting sick of it, and he has a talk with oh man, I'm forgetting Hera. That's it. Yeah, Hera. He gets a talk with Hera. Hera tells him the story of why Zeb is the way he is around those Disruptors, and she also says, "Hey, look, Kanan's kind of busy, but he will get to you, and I'll make sure of it." So pretty much Kanan, I guess you could say Kanan and Hera are like Ezra's adoptive parents. You could look at them that way. And I kind of like this dysfunctional family dynamic they have with all these characters. I really do. So they managed to get it back to the weapons trader, who again I don't even care enough to remember his name. But however, C-3PO and all his stupidity, he and R2 managed to sneak aboard the ship, and R2-D2 and Chopper, by the way, the other R7 droid, is pretty much like, hey, we don't like each other right off the bat. And what happens next is more or less that C-3PO tries to send a message to Bail Organa, but, sorry, the Empire shows up, and along with the guy that's been hunting them. We also discover that that same agent that's been hunting them also carries the same type of weapon, because it's not only a fact that he killed one of the Honor Guard members of Zeb's race, he was also the one who gave the order to pretty much cause his whole species to be pretty much wiped out. So I guess he's going to be more of an antagonist to Zeb than he is to the rest of the crew, because Kanan really has... Kanan looks like his main enemy is going to be the Inquisitor when he shows up, which is supposed to be the next episode, and I'm very much looking forward to that. There's a fight between the agent and Zeb, and Zeb is nearly killed, but Ezra manages to rescue Zeb by using a full force push, knocks the guy out, they all escape, and Ezra pretty much says, hey, look, Ezra wants to be trained, and Kanan's like, yeah, starting tomorrow, your Jedi training begins. And afterwards, the crew of the Ghost bring the R2 and C-3PO back to Bail Organa, and everything is a-okay for now. All in all, really love this episode. I really thought it was a lot of fun. The Star Tours reference just got me. Like, the nostalgia. It burns within my soul. That's what it felt like. Just a great nostalgia bomb, great reference. I can go on and on about that because I fucking love the Star Tours ride, and I really want to ride the refurbished version. Anyway, guys, what did you guys think of this episode? Did you guys like it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys like the Star Tours reference or the other little references they had in here? Really curious to know, and I've been really liking from the past 3 episodes of what they're doing with Star Wars Rebels. I know some people are kind of not so much on board with it, but I'm giving it a chance, and so far it's been really growing on me the more I watch it. Anyway, once again, hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I'm out.